Hi, this is Eva for Once Upon a Timeline. Welcome, everybody. Hopefully, you can hear me. I actually didn't remember to check my sound, so let me know if you can't hear me. So let's see who's in. Angels Don't Fall. Jumping Ship. Let me look on the other screen here. Shari D is in. Welcome, welcome. Monty Hendricks. Morpheus Dreams of Sleep. Matrix Effect. Colorado Skywatch. Not too many people in today. I only got the notice out like an hour in advance, so that might be part of it. Mandanimal. I think that's everybody. So Angels Don't Fall was talking about having a meetup in Temecula, which is not super far from me, so I would be definitely in for that. I didn't know what that second thing was. I was thinking was maybe seeing if Eva would consider doing what the Scariest Movie channel does and have a live show queued up in advance for random checking in and out. I don't actually know what exactly that means. You have to clarify. I mean, so I can't really answer because I don't know what that is. I don't know. Probably I'd be fine with it if I knew how to do the technical aspect of it, which I'm really not very technical. So at least with this kind of thing. Maybe something like a potluck rather than doing a restaurant or something. We might get lucky, but I've tried these a number of times, and if we get a whole whopping 4 people to show up, that's about the most I've ever been able to get for a meetup. So there's a couple people down at the far end, the south end of San Diego that might come, but I don't know if they'll drive all the way to Temecula, but they have driven fairly far in the past, so there's a chance I could get them to go. But really, if we get, usually there's no problem just getting a regular restaurant table because usually there's not enough people to require any major planning. So yeah, that's what we usually do. The only thing is if you do a restaurant, sometimes you're sitting there going, oh, in Australia, moved thousands of miles. And then like the waitress comes by and she's like, what? You people are crazy. That doesn't really bother me that much, but it might bother other people. So yeah, it's been a while since I had a meetup. I was actually thinking we should do one this summer in case things get all crazy in the fall. So I would be in for it. Okay. So it's another quiet day. I'm not super organized. I actually just ran into this earlier today, and it's totally not a Mandela. But it was just so weird. Postal Service, that's the USPS, and as you know, I do keep an eye on them since I ship every day for a living. The Postal Service is running a covert operations program that monitors Americans' social media posts. The law enforcement arm of the USPS has been quietly running a program that tracks and collects American social media posts, including those about planned protests, according to a document obtained by Yahoo News. So this whole thing is shocking. First, that Yahoo News actually did any kind of journalism whatsoever shocks me probably almost as much as this USPS thing. The details of the surveillance effort known as ICOP, or Internet Covert Operations Program, have not previously been made public. The work involves having analysts trawl through social media sites to look for what the document describes as inflammatory postings and then sharing that information across government agencies. Why on earth would USPS be hit up for social media surveillance programming? I mean, don't they not have enough money for their normal operations? Are they having them do it so that the activity was more hidden from people searching for it? I mean, it's totally insane. I mean, USPS, the post office. Let's see. ICOP monitors significant activity regarding planned protests occurring internationally and domestically on March 2021. I'm assuming it's that Chauvin trial thing. Says the March 16th government bulletin, marked as law enforcement sensitive and distributed through the Department of Homeland Security's fusion centers. Locations and times have been identified for these protests, which are being distributed online across blah, blah, blah. What the heck is the Homeland Security's fusion centers? Is that like, so like all arms of the government now are like a branch of Homeland Security or what? All right, so blah, blah, blah. So that, I don't know. The rest of it is just that, okay, so there was some idiots said they were going to engage in a fight or something. I mean, people post stupid crap on Facebook all the time. It doesn't mean they're actually going to do it. You find one guy who says, yeah, let's have a fight on Facebook, does not exactly mean that the world is going to crash and burn. But I don't know. This is just weird. ICOP analysts are currently monitoring these social media channels for any potential threats stemming from the scheduled protests and will disseminate intelligence updates as needed, the bulletin says. Okay, so there's the bulletin for March 16th, situational awareness bulletin. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on with this. This is the bulletin. Looks like there's some redactions. They found something by Proud Boys or something. So what, they're monitoring then? If they're monitoring like Parler and those kind, then they're looking for anti-lockdown protests. They're not looking for BLM Chauvin protests, actually. So, So I actually take that other one back. I mean, unless they're looking at everything, but all the stuff they're talking about here is like anti-lockdown stuff. When contacted by Yahoo News, civil liberties experts expressed alarm at the post office's surveillance program. It's a mystery, said University of Chicago law professor Geoffrey Stone, whom President Barack Obama appointed to review the National Security Agency's bulk data collection in the wake of Edward Snowden leaks. I don't understand why the government would go to the Postal Service for examining the internet for security issues. This seems a little bizarre, agreed Rachel Levinson Waldman, deputy director of the Brennan Center for Justice's Liberty and National Security Program. It appears that ICOP is meant to root out misuse of the postal system by online actors, which doesn't seem to encompass what's going on here. It's not at all clear why their mandate would include monitoring of social media that's unrelated to the use of the postal system. Levinson Waldman also questioned the legal authority of the Postal Service to monitor social media activity. That should be the purview of the FBI. Okay, I don't know. It's just weird, so I just thought I'd put it in there. And then there's a bunch of people going, oh, that's weird. The USPS, and then even if they were doing that, then why is it out now? I mean, like, this world is just so weird. All right, then we'll get to the Mandelas. I don't know why, I just want to say that because it was so bizarre. Fusion centers are for organizing community, mobbing, gang stalker perps. Wait, let me just look at this. What is the official Homeland Security Fusion Centers? Fusion centers accomplish this through sharing information, providing partners with a unique perspective on threats to their state or locality, and being the primary conduit between frontline personnel, state and local leadership, and the rest of the Homeland Security enterprise. Okay, that's about what I expected it to say. They're basically, it's an information sharing setup, because that's pretty much what they were talking about in the article. These centers are the highest priority for the allocation of available federal resources, including deployment of personnel and connectivity with federal data systems. Remember that whole stink about the was it the 9/11 was that there wasn't enough cross communication between the different agencies. So, I mean, who knows what's really going on, but that's the official party line. Anyway, that article just said they're basically trawling the internet for information on protests. Since when is A and USPS a delta? Let me look at that again. Logo. That one, oh, okay. That one, I saw that. When did I see that? It's not super new, but it's not really old. Like maybe 6 months ago. That I think they're talking about. See how that A is like a triangle now. I've actually just been noticing it tipping a lot. It even looks less tipped than that's been the main one. When did I see that? It was there's two of them too. Yeah, I can't remember exactly. I mean, it hasn't been years, but it's not the last few months either. I think I saw it. I just see so many deltas now. I'm just like too lazy to say anything. Same with like song lyric changes. It's like another one of those. Cops, fire force, military are all involved. So basically, you know, the New World Order, I guess. I don't know. Space weather and saying water on the moon, bacteria on Mars, black sun system, etc. Lost my lower eyelashes. Well, that's different. I got like more eyelashes than ever. Seems like I got like lots of extra ones. Slowly. The USPS is the government. Well, yeah, but I mean, they didn't used to. They used to have enough business just trying to get the mail delivered, you know? Temecula Library Meeting Room, free, the main branch. Yeah, that could work. As long as we don't have to be super quiet. The only thing is they might not allow food and stuff. It is kind of fun to bring some chow. Let's see. Shari, you were saying they were talking about some kind of restrictions for the non-vaccinated. Vaccinated. Yeah, I would just wait and see what that all comes out to. Because, you know, it's funny. There's a lot of people rushing out, getting the poke now, and they're like, "Oh, we're gonna need these for this and now." Well, you can always wait until later and just see where you're at. I don't really see the point in rushing, but. Because I don't know, you know, I was really worried about the vaccine passports. And I'm not saying I'm not, but they've kind of dialed it back from worst case scenario, at least right now. And now we're starting to see more and more issues with the side effects. So it may not, you know, it may not be as locked down as we worry. Remember, USPS bought 2 billion rounds of ammo. Did they? I think I do remember something about bought. I do remember something about that, but did I look into it? U.S. Post Office joins in federal ammo purchases. It's not just the USPS that is stocking up on ammo. A little more than a year ago, the Social Security Administration put in a request for 174,000 rounds of SIG 125 grain bonded, blah, 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 hollow point bullets. Before that, it was the Department of Agriculture requesting 320,000 rounds. Let's see what Bloomberg has to say about why the post office is buying bullets. Rounds is the proper word, but... Oh, I gotta pay for that one. I don't know if any of you noticed, but I'm actually using a new browser. I got the Brave browser. I like it. It's fast. And you can earn tiny amounts of money. So if you actually surf a lot, let's see, how do you get to that? I don't think I have any on here, but I just put it on this computer. But basically, you can earn cryptocurrency, which is BAT, for that's their crypto, and it's worth like dollars. So I earned like $1. I've had it a couple days on my work computer, and I've earned like $1. But you know, I mean, if you get $20 a month, and that's $200 a year, and all you're doing is surfing the internet and using their browser. But the browser blocks most of the pop-up ads and crap. It's very private and secure, and you have the option of letting it show you a few commercials, but they just pop up down here surreptitiously, so you could ignore them. But if you click on them, you get more of the BAT, which can be traded for USD. So the only thing is, if you actually want to trade that out for other stuff like actual money, you have to verify your ID and stuff with this wallet thing. If you don't do that, then it'll just accumulate, but you won't be able to trade it out. But anyways, it's good browser just for being a browser too. So even if you didn't want to do the money thing, I would recommend though. I think my eyes are now more near the nose and my face is longer and wider. I think that was like how I was saying before. I'll tell you, I've almost forgot to write it down, but I'm glad you're mentioning that. Let me just, let's see. Oh, let me go to this one. Yoke. Okay, so I'll make my face bigger so you could see. Yoke. All right, so right like here, I looked in the mirror like 2 days ago, and right in here, it looks much wider. Like, I think my nose used to just come straight in, but now it's coming out like that on both sides, like here. So you can kind of see there's flesh sticking out here now. And that used to be just, like there. It used to go straight down. Now it's kind of like out. It's like there was a landslide from here, and now there's like I don't know. It's weird when I look at it, because this nose used to taper up smaller, but now it's actually wide down here. So was it like a month ago or something I said I thought there was more territory here, but this wasn't wide then. And I think my eyes are further back. So this area came out, but now I don't really like it. It's sort of weird looking. All right. I mean, some of the changes happen. I'm like, yeah, that's not bad, but see how I get this shrunk down again. I can't seem to find the top over here. There. Something like that. So I don't know, you might want to check. With all your videos in the past, if my face changes and it's a Mandela, yes, then my face will be like that in all the past videos. Because the Mandela is retroactive for all identical copies, as best we can tell. I don't know, maybe if it misses something, but pretty much that seems to be the pattern. I don't want to say for sure, because you never know, but... Well, there's a newly discovered sinus cavity about 1.5 inches long. I think I covered that one about 6 months ago, though. That sinus cavity one. Yep, the nose has changed. Aha. My eyes are like piss holes in the snow now. I used to be wide-eyed. Yeah, my eyes used to be like... kind of bulgy out. They bulge out like, I just kind of basically thought of it as like Caucasian eyes kind of stuck out like marbles. And then the Asian eyes tend to be more sunk back in. And you used to be able to see like a lot more eye, like it was like that. So they sunk back in, and now they're more slitty. So they've got almost a slight Asian look to them. I didn't used to have hooded eyes at all. So I used to do my eye makeup totally differently because I used to put eye makeup in over here to give a shadowed look. But if I did that now, you don't even see the shadow in there. It's completely hidden by my eye sunk back. So I don't even know exactly how to do eyeshadow on these eyes. I'd have to like Google it now because the old way would be like stupid. And I used to do little cat eyes out the side. Ironically, they weren't that popular then. They're popular now, but I love that look. But now I can't do it because there's too many folds in there. And so, which browser? It's called Brave browser, Brave. Brave browser. So I think it's brave.com. Yeah, fast, secure web browser with ad blocker. Brave.com. BRAVE.com. 3 times faster than Chrome, better privacy by default than Firefox, uses 35% less battery on mobile. It downloads really fast, and it's fast. It somehow, I don't totally understand it, but it works on blockchain like the cryptocurrencies do. And don't ask me any more than that. Block data grabbing ads and trackers. Blocking harmful ads and trackers means blah, blah, blah. Browse more privately with Tor. Other browsers claim to have a private mode, but this is only hide your history from others using your browser. Brave lets you use Tor right in a tab. Tor not only hides your history, it masks your location. Yeah, anyway, I haven't actually looked into all of it and stuff, but other people were recommending it to me because you can get their bit currency for basically just browsing, like, oh, something for nothing. Shari, I looked at the photo of me from 20 years ago, and I swear I never looked like that. It freaked me out. Huge Mandela. Yeah. My ears are like pixies for the last 2 years. You mean like pointy on the top? Because I feel like mine have gotten very elven. I used to have more ordinary ears. That's interesting when you said your eyes are near the nose because I was kind of looking at the skulls, and I'm glad you brought that up because I had forgotten to write it down on my paper. I haven't heard of anyone losing their lower eyelashes. No, I have not heard that. That one's a new one on me. You know, I don't know what that black sun system is either. From the quick. Let me just get to that one. System. Oh, is that some kind of... No, wait. Are we talking about real black suns or like a symbol for some creepy organization? Are you talking about that Nibiru thing or the astronomer? Okay, I don't know. All right, invisible sun. That's okay. It's a game. I don't know. All right, so yeah, I was looking at the skulls. There's not like a total smoking gun, but I do feel like the nose looks a little strange. Okay, so the first thing I noticed, wish I could get it a little larger. It's kind of puny. Maybe that one. Oh, okay, that's not the one. Okay, so this is the side view. So what I remember is, I don't remember this big chunk over the top lip here. So before, when this force, there was just like the skull would come down and there would be a little hole area for the nose, and then it would continue. Then we got this kind of a little bony ridge that would cover part of the top of the nose, and you can actually feel it in there, where that's been slowly getting bigger. But then what I'm seeing now is there's this like chip out, like the chipped out area. So there's like, it didn't used to gouge in on the bottom, and this looks a lot more prominent. So this used to just be a little ridge thing that just kind of looked tacked on, but now it's just way more. I mean, it almost looks like somebody slammed their face in the wall or something. The other thing I'm noticing, and there's just seems to be kind of a more prominent point here on the chin, and that is another one that you kind of regularly see. And this hole down here, one of those, what is that word for those little holes? That's gotten a lot bigger. Very, you very much notice it now. See, all of these have the pointy chin thing. I'm not sure if that's a real one, but they all... this. See this, it's very prominent in here like this. I'm also kind of seeing like it really, the teeth kind of come out. I mean, it used to be like a straight line and the teeth were in it, but now the teeth are kind of, they snap out of the skull a little. They bulge out. And that's not something I remember from the past. And again, like here, the ear hole is getting very prominent. Chin, again, very pointy, although mine hasn't, but on these images they do. So I think this thing here is why we're seeing, like, I'm seeing the bulge on me, because it prompted me to look. But basically it looks like that whole bony nose area, because I'm poking it and it feels really solid in there. It's not like some weird fluid buildup or anything. I'm like, what happened to my nose? No, it's hard meat in there, and it feels like there's bone right behind. So, it's not some kind of weird sinus problem or something. See, again, look at how high that is now. That the hole looks like it's gotten a lot bigger and like chewed out a lot more of the bone in there. Again, look at this super pointy area down here on the chin. Are we going to get rid of weak chins? Because I have a weak chin, and I'm like... So a weak chin basically just means it's not very pointy out here. It just kind of fades back. So, if I'm going to have to get a big fat nose ridge, I want to have more chin, please. It's only fair. All right, let's look at front views now. Let's see how big that hole is. I mean, you can look like right up the nose. So look at like, it just looks like it's the whole area here is just wider. The other thing I really felt like, it feels to me like this hole is kind of jamming up between the eyes more, and we've kind of seen that. I remember this hole like being under the eyes, the nose hole. And then there'd be flesh coming down, and then there'd be the hole down here. But the hole is getting bigger and is coming up between the eyes. It looks weird. Look at the size of these cheek areas. They're huge now. So I'm using DuckDuckGo now. I set that as my default, so I'm trying to get used to it. So I'm like kind of flailing a little bit, but it's more intuitive than Bing, so I'm kind of liking it. Front view. The only thing I wish it would tell me the size of the images before. Oh, it does tell me the size of the images before I click on it. Good. That makes me happy. Okay. See, look at how big that nose is. You can totally see in there. And it just looks like it's a lot wider in here. So I think that's what I'm seeing. There's so many lines in the skull here too, like along the teeth. We're starting to see more and more of them in the jaw. It's almost like the bone itself is wrinkly. Used to be that was a really smooth, it didn't have all those striations and stuff. Maybe this one. This one is not quite as, whoa, that one might be too big. I wish there was a part way we could see how wide it looks in there? It almost looks like maybe there's just more space in general between the eyes. I'm not sure. That just something is just weird about that whole thing. I'm trying to put my finger on it. So again, down here, these bumps getting big. This chin, again, looks like it's really sticking out. Let's see where we are down here. Yeah, the nose hole is getting like, it used to just be a hole, but now it has an upside down heart. I think I've mentioned that before, but it's gotten more prominent and it's just bigger. Need inputs driving home. I was just saying, I think the top of the nose has gotten bigger on people and on the skulls. It's like wider out here, so might want to check it. The vertical bone ridge between the chin and the bottom of the jaw, never felt that until 4 years ago. Faces have elongated rather than facial features minified. Because I remember heads not being so tall. Yeah, I do think we're getting, I remember us being more like shorter and wider heads. Apparently people are making money with cryptocurrency. Yeah. Well, you know, I gotta say though, it's still gambling. Because basically it's like the stock market, okay? It's like a very early version of the stock market. But there's a couple things about crypto. One thing is you can buy some of the cryptos, not Bitcoin, but some of them are very well hidden and hard to trace. So those are like the privacy coins, like Monero. And so like the criminals like those because it's, I don't want to swear it's untraceable, but it's supposed to be pretty close. Some of the cryptos don't really have much backing them. It's almost like a pyramid scheme, like Dogecoin, or it looks like Doggy Coin, but it's Doge with the cute little Shiba Inu as its logo. I don't think it's really good for anything, so it's almost like only worth things because people. It's sort of a weird thing because there's nothing like. It's not really that useful, but somehow people keep putting their money in it, so it's and some of these are like that, but. Other ones are useful, like Ethereum. Now they have this thing called NFTs, which is basically people selling their digital art and digital anything of digital value, like say video of some kind of viral event or famous event, like some kind of football event or sporting thing that happened, or it could be just some silly viral thing that whatever you can sell. You can make a digital art painting and sell that, or you can sell 10 copies of it, and people can like own it, and it's called NFT, which is non-fungible token. Yeah, I'm a little shaky on these, but basically that's people now can sell digital stuff, and yet you can still own it, because like when you have a physical thing, like if you have a Picasso, you hang it on your wall. It's your Picasso. You have it in your hands. You have it in your possession. That's how you own things. But how can you own a digital thing, digital art? Well, apparently the setup is this NFT system, and the crypto that most people use for NFTs is called Ethereum. And so Ethereum is one that's very easy apparently to exchange, because one of the problems with cryptocurrencies is kind of expensive to transfer. So if you're like buying and selling a $10 item, you don't want to spend a lot of money on just the transfer of the money, right? So Ethereum is good for that. So that's why it is currently popular. And some of the others have certain benefits to them, but then like Doge doesn't really have any. So you're really gambling if you buy Doge, because there's a number of issues with it. But if a lot of people buy it because it's just quirky and cool, and then you jump out, you sell at a profit, that's great, but you never know. You never know. And the other thing with all these cryptos is there's so many kinds now. So say I thought, oh, Monero is a really good privacy coin, so I'm going to invest on that. And then it goes up and up. But maybe another privacy coin that's like better, like it has better encryption or some other kind of thing that is even better, might show up next week and take over. And, Monero might dive, and then that one will. So you never know. It's like wild and woolly out there. You never know which ones are going to suddenly show up and, make a place for themselves. And some of these new ones, they're like penny stocks. They're worth so little when they first come out. So if you bought a bunch of it and that one went crazy, you could make a buttload. But just as easily, that one could just die and nobody will get it. So part of the reason everybody's really excited by crypto right now is because in recent months, it's just skyrocketed for whatever reason. So is that going to keep up? So everybody who's in crypto right now, almost everybody's just making money because they're all exploding. But there could be a crash like 6 months from now or not. I don't know though. Gold is going down, and I think people are trusting crypto more than they're trusting some of the old school things. So it is definitely interesting. And then the sale of the NFTs and stuff, or the art. So yeah, I'm not sure. I think it's going to keep going, but my iPad died on me and I lost all my residue. Well, that sucks. What's the use of crypto if banks keep regulating them? Yeah, that's kind of a good question, isn't it? Trying to read all these. Bitcoin is bearish. Yeah, exactly. Bitcoin's just doing really good right now. NFT is similar to digital rights licenses. We used to lease digital rights for the old movies at NBC Universal. Yeah, and there's been some talk about maybe movies and stuff actually doing something like that using NFTs. All I know of is the Crypt Keeper. Don't know nothing of crypto. Yeah, it's just, like Bitcoin. You've heard of that thing. Gonna wait to see what happens with crypto, vax, silver, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, the one thing about crypto is it's a little harder for like the powers that be to manipulate, because you can't short sell crypto. You can't sell crypto if you don't own it. So there's, who knows, some of that weird stuff might slowly develop over time, but recently, Dogecoin and Elon Musk rise seems a little evil. Yeah, see, Dogecoin, there's some kind of weird. So Dogecoin was originally supposedly, not that I trust anything anymore, supposedly done as a joke. And that's why they just put a cute doggy, and it wasn't ever meant to be a serious coin, and it doesn't really do anything, and also is not limited. So their Dogecoins are continually made, so they're basically, it's sort of like how the US government just prints more money than it really should because the money is not backed by the gold standard anymore. Well, Dogecoin's like that. It always prints money. So there's like theoretically, if you look at the concepts behind these things, it could get really bad inflation because there's no limits. But yet somehow it's doing good. So that's kind of weird. But it could be like just because Elon Musk has been yapping it up, but I'm just wondering if Elon bought a bunch of it and then he yapped it up and then he sold a bunch of it. You're not technically supposed to do that, but he never went and said, buy Doge. He just went, oh, I like Doge and stuff. So I guess he's technically not broken the law. I mean, just like I could get on here and say, I like Ethereum, and that doesn't mean I'm giving financial advice because I didn't tell you what to do. The more money they create artificially, more they potentially drain energy from us. I don't know. I was kind of wondering, like, so the U.S. has been printing all this money, and so everybody's worried about inflation. So that's one of the reasons people are going more into crypto, because the stock market is like so overvalued and so manipulated, and people don't trust it. And gold was kind of the normal fallback for that. But now they have crypto, so a lot of money is going into crypto. And I kind of wondered if that's helped block some of the inflation by kind of soaking up money a little bit. I'm just not enough of an economic major to know if that's really a legit concept. But we should be experiencing massive inflation by all the money that all the US dollars they printed. And we're just not. And everybody's like, it's coming, but they've been saying it for like over a year now, and it hasn't come. So either the universe is protecting us or what, I don't know, but and gift cards. My neighbor got a new truck, then another new truck, and another new house for his rewards from his targeting work. I don't know what targeting work is. I use Google only for recipes. Yeah, I like Yandex as a search engine, but not for local stuff. I mean, if you need to find the store down the street, Yandex sucks for that. But when I'm looking for like conspiracy theory or anything like that, it's the least hideous. I mean, it's nowhere near as good as Google once was, but there's not much out there right now. The world economy is running on fairy dust. Exactly, like I've said, Shari. Yes, I believe so. Why did you even use Bing? I don't know, because it wasn't Google. Is that a good reason? I don't know. I still think Yandex is better than DuckDuckGo, though. Because last I heard, DuckDuckGo uses Google algorithms. So it's supposed to be just less tracking on it, but... My guides warned me about crypto like 6 months before it took off, which is weird because I'm not too savvy with stuff. Warn you about it like not doing it or doing it? So anyways, if you do the Brave browser, then you get cryptos for free. So that's my kind of cryptos. So if you lose them all later, well, you didn't spend any money on them. No search engines work anymore. They will answer basic questions. Yeah, even getting a simple question answered now is getting hard. Like, what was I looking for? How long does phosphorus stay in the body? Like, if I ate a lot of phosphorus this week, if I ate a ton of phosphorus on one day, is that enough for the next 3 days? Or do you have to eat phosphorus every day? Couldn't find the answer. DuckDuckGo uses Microsoft Bing's algorithm. Yeah, I don't know. They all seem like they suck. Need input. See you later, dudes. Okay, so the next one. So apparently underneath the Twin Towers, because we just can't stop having fun with weird new 9/11 stuff. They found in 2010 when they were doing the excavation work. Supposedly, they uncovered a shipwreck from the late 1700s underneath the Twin Towers. The wood composing it was built from the same woods used to build Liberty Hall in Philadelphia. The ship was built in 1773. I'm not sure how they knew, but this did not happen in my history. So this was found by somebody on Retconned. Username will work for answers. Very good find. So here's some images of the ship stuff. Somebody heard about this ship they found under the Twin Towers in 2010. You know, I've looked at the 911 thing so many times, and I have not seen. So there's some of the ship. Looks like it was in pretty good shape considering. It's been under there all that time. More of it. Workers at Ground Zero find an 18th century ship underneath the World Trade Center rubble. It's like, how does this stuff happen? A ship just gets there, and it just then how does the building get on top of the ship? You know, I mean, like, why is the ship not encased in cement or moved, or I don't know? It's just weird. Here's a story on it. A lot of those links on there were paywall ones, but the CNN one's not. Centuries-old ship at NYC Ground Zero, likely from Philadelphia. In July 2010, a pair of archaeologists began dismantling the remains of a wooden ship that was found at the World Trade Center construction site. The hull of the ship has been traced back to colonial era Philadelphia, according to researchers at the Tree Ring Research Laboratory. For more than 200 years, it lay hidden beneath the ground upon which New York City's World Trade Center once stood. All right, so it's just saying all that stuff I just said. Oh, so anybody heard of that? Because I sure haven't. The fairy tale fantasy line world make believe you are here. Yep. Shari obviously has it. Yeah. It's a shipwreck under the World Trade Center. So remember they found that funky boat by the Great Pyramid? So apparently now they found another funky boat under the World Trade Center. I don't think this timeline lights its funky buried boats. Didn't the building go down some distance? Yeah, I don't know. Let me just look at that one again. Actually, how deep was that hole? It didn't look very deep, did it? All right, you can't really tell there. Yeah, see, the boat's right here. It doesn't look like it went down very far, does it? I mean, all the upper buildings are all around right here. I mean, where's the foundation then? Shouldn't the foundation be way down there? Oh, wait, this one needs a paywall. CNN. See, it looks like right there is the surface, and they're down. I mean, it really looks like they're only down like one person's depth. Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, wouldn't the foundations have to go deep, deep down? Okay, CNN. All right, let's just start over. Trying to find a pulled back version here. All right. Is this pieces of wood might be it? Okay, so it's just down. If this pieces of wood is it, then it looks like it's down like maybe say that guy's so maybe like 15 feet down. Seems kind of weird. All right, there's not that many images of it either. Yeah, I agree. It's a little strange. They gave me the heads up back in 2014 on Bitcoin, but I'm not tech savvy anymore. I used to build PCs for gaming. Okay, so they gave you the heads up to get it, or they said don't get it? It's on the internet, so it must be true. I don't know. They had to dig deep for a foundation. How come they didn't find it then? Yeah, I don't know. And somebody said on there about the piles. Yeah, I mean, I guess you maybe they sunk piles and just missed it, but it just seems a little weird. Didn't they find a boat in the desert? That I think. Okay, so they found those boats over. I think there's like two of them now that they found in the Giza Plateau area near the pyramids. And supposedly there was one out in San Diego, like eastern deserts, that was seen once or twice, but then disappeared. And because there's supposed to be an inland sea there, and a boat got stuck. But that's like a rumor mill that showed up in like the last 5, 6 years. But there's no actual boat. There was a subway system down there. I'm not sure on that one. I do remember something about there being a basements with gold, though. There was like a gold filled. There was gold underneath the. Maybe I should check that one out. Gold vault under Twin Towers, which I don't think was back way then, but then I heard that like about 6 or 7 years ago. Unknown to most people at the time, 650 million in gold and silver was being kept in a special vault 4 floors beneath 4 World Trade Center. Okay, so that wasn't. Yeah, that's true. There's a whole bunch of different complexes. So I guess the vault is now under 4 World Trade Center. It's really hard to keep up with this stuff. The foundation was lower than the Manhattan waterline bathtub. I'm not sure if it was. I just know I remember they were worried about the bathtub cracking, and it didn't. But beyond that, I don't remember. Vikings wanted to get on the ground floor. Yeah. So I guess this would be was it be Vikings, or it was more like white boys? Well, they are white boys, but I think it was more like Europeans. Mickey Mantle home run ball found under World Trade Center. Yeah, who knows what we'll find. You know, the Mandela just can't leave that alone. There's just got to be, so now we have a boat, and then we had a hurricane, and I'm just like, all right, what are we going to get next? I don't, I don't know, aliens. Oh, we found it. A cocoon of aliens under there. I don't, gold. Okay, gold was one of the gold vault thing, and that was one of the older ones. I don't know. So anyway, yeah, we'll work for answers. Found a good one there. Good find. I really don't have that many again this week. Okay, what was that? Oh, okay. I didn't really have a lot for the thumbnail. And I don't even know if this is a Mandela, but it's kind of weird. So I needed something for the thumbnail, and that was it. So this one is from Sapioid. Commenter on the channel. All right, so they always portrayed angels a certain way, but apparently in the Bible now, and I can't swear that this has changed, but they basically describe most of the animals, angels, as really weird. They just describe them like this one, I believe, was the no, this is a cherubim, the cherubs. They're not described as little babies. They're described as like having 3 sets of wings. Like one covers the body. And then there's like these 2 other ones. One's for flying. I forgot what the third set is. So they're basically all wings and a head. And that's how they're described in the Bible. Cherubs aren't cute little babies. They're terrifying human-animal hybrids. One of the most vivid descriptions of angels in the Bible comes from the prophet Ezekiel's inaugural vision. It describes 2 main types of angels. The first are cherubim. Cherubs have been assigned a variety of tasks by God, one of the most important, which is to guard the Garden of Eden. According to Ezekiel's vision, every cherub had the face of a human being, and on the right side, each had the face of a lion, and on the left, the face of an ox. Each of those also had the face of an eagle. If the combined faces of 4 different species aren't frightening enough, cherubs also have 2 sets of wings, one for flight and the other to conceal their bodies. Additionally, cherubs have straight legs and shiny bull hooves. Okay, so I remember like one creature being described with like 4 heads of different animals and a set of wings. I don't remember like another set of wings totally obscuring the body, and I don't remember any bull hooves on any of the angel creatures, and the straight legs thing, I don't remember anything about that. So I remember this being like one creature, not like all of them. Okay, so they're trying to describe it here. So, though ironically, I don't see the bull hooves on this one, but so there's like 3. This is probably not even that accurate in art, but this one might be a little better. So there's 3 heads and then straight legs with bull hooves. I don't know. It's all pretty weird. Now this thing, I do remember there was like the wheels within wheels that were shining thing. I remember that thing. Other angels are described as interlocking wheels and covered in eyes. I don't remember him being covered in eyes, though. So I think some of this might have changed. I remember them spending a lot of time trying to reconstruct this, and they thought it was a UFO that he was seeing. And they didn't. It was not covered in eyes, because if it's covered in eyes, that doesn't sound like a UFO anymore. But the argument was before that it was a UFO by the description. Now it doesn't make sense. All right, so Ezekiel 1, each appeared to be made like a wheel intersecting a wheel. So first of all, I only remember there being one of these, not a whole bunch. Made like a wheel intersecting a wheel, the rims were high and awesome, and all 4 rims were full of eyes all around. See, I don't remember that eyes. Further, the orphanum are said to be sparkle like topaz and to hover in the air as they mimic the motion of the cherubim. Per Ezekiel, both the cherubim and orphanum help to guard the throne of God himself. Given their frightening description, they certainly good picks for the job. Another type of angel, seraphim, singular seraph, is described in Isaiah 5. I saw the Lord high and exalted, seated on a throne. Above him were seraphim, each with 6 wings. With 2 wings they covered their faces, with 2 they covered their feet, and with 2 they were flying. So they had 6 wings, but rather they served to sing God's praises. Per Isaiah, they hover around God's throne. The seraphim can be heard singing, Holy, holy, holy is the Lord Almighty. The whole earth is full of his glory. All right, so the only angels that look like humans apparently were the messenger angels. And they describe some, but anyway, I don't remember it with the eyes, and I don't remember with the hooves. The hooves were always kind of, kind of the devil's area there. So they would say the devil had animal hooves, but not the angels. So I'm really suspicious that's shifted around some. Cherubs were always naked. Yeah, not anymore. And they're not little babies. So there's like basically no angels that had like a little baby bodies anymore, apparently. So the messenger angels came down and they look like humans. That contradicts the smoldering heat on 9/11. Yeah, that's true actually, doesn't it? Oh, I don't know. There's boats out here in the Mojave Desert, more than just one, or two more than a few. Have you seen them? I mean, are they like visible? The whole world is joking that the aliens are coming next, so I don't know. Never seen those types of wings before. Yeah, I haven't either. I mean, it's been in the Bible all this time. You would have thought that somebody would have drawn those sooner, or I would have seen them. I don't know. It just seems a little suspicious. I'm waiting for we found an alien city in a cave. Yeah, I don't know. There's just getting more and more weird stuff in the Bible all the time. Okay, so got you, got you. All right, you guys have heard of sudden infant death syndrome, right? Well, apparently now they have sudden adult death syndrome. So I ran into this like a week ago, since after the last show. There was something on Yahoo News about it. The only thing Yahoo News is good for is keeping up with the current narrative. I've never heard of this sudden adult death syndrome, SADS. Oh, they're calling it SDS. Sudden death syndrome now. So it was SADS last I checked. Now it's SDS, an umbrella term for a series of cardiac syndromes that cause sudden cardiac arrest and death. So they're saying there could be hidden structural problems in the heart. Sometimes there's weird electrical issues. So basically, you feel fine and then you just die in your sleep. It runs in families. Blah 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 blah. Long QT syndrome. What was that? Something about the electrical system. Sometimes you get symptoms and sometimes you don't, but if you do, there'd be the ones you'd expect, like chest pain, dizziness. But basically, it's like if you just suddenly just die and there's nothing wrong with you, then they're going to say it's SADS. So first it was just kids who used to get that. I've never heard of adults getting it. So it looks like they've expanded it so that now there's just SDS instead of SIDS. Oh, this is interesting because now they're calling it sudden arrhythmic death syndrome, which would cover all. Oh, this is interesting. Okay, so when I wrote this down, it was sudden adult death syndrome, but now SAD apparently is sudden arrhythmic death syndrome. This is weird because I just looked this up like last week and they all said sudden adult death syndrome, but now they're not. This one's evolving rapidly. Now it's arrhythmic death syndrome. I swear to God it said adult death syndrome, and so did the Yahoo News article. Okay, here. No, that doesn't have adult either. Oh, this is a trip. I swear to God it was adult death syndrome. There. Okay, there's one. Yeah, I'm not crazy. Beautiful and healthy British accountant 24 died of sudden adult death syndrome on dream work trip to Australia with her boyfriend. So of course the Poke conspiracy theorists are all saying this is going to be the new excuse for anybody who just suddenly dies after the Poke. Her death was caused by sudden arrhythmic death syndrome, SADS. It really looks like this is shifting over from adult to arrhythmic. So yeah, you basically just go to bed and then die. So I don't know, is it people leaving the timeline or what? But I just think it's pretty weird. See, it was just for kids for me. It was just SIDS for me. There was no SADS. And the SIDS, when did that show up? Like 20 years ago? I don't remember hearing about it when I was a kid. It's called the Poke. The Poke. You got to use the nickname for it around here because the algorithms will come after us. So make sure you come up with a good nickname for it. You don't want to use their word. What is a quantum unconscious calls it the action Jackson. And the reason I don't is because I just can't say those two words without scrambling them. Action Jackson. Maybe he's better at speaking than I am. I don't want to use the word that too many other people use either, because they might add that to the algorithm if it's too popular. Although him by himself, I don't think they're going to add it, but... McDonald's sign in my town moved overnight, literally moved like 100 feet from where it was. I saw that happen on my Walmart. There was one spot where they had a McDonald's sign, and then I came another day and it was like way down here. And one reason I noticed is because the McDonald's sign was 3 rows from the front door. And so I used to always park on that row because it was the perfect row where there was few enough cars usually that you could find a spot, but it wasn't that far from the door. So I would just always, I'm going to park on the row that has the McDonald's sign. Then when I come out and it's dark and you can't find your car, you go to the McDonald's sign and then you go down that row, you'll find your car. So it's very easy. And then one day it didn't work anymore because the McDonald's sign was right by the door, and it just was, and I looked during the day and there's no sign, there was no stains or marks or hole, and it's a lit sign, so they had electrical to it, so there had to be some kind of electrical hole in the wall. There was nothing on that wall where it used to be, so I don't think they could have even removed it and moved it without some markings on the stone or something. Has anybody seen bears lately? They look weird, like, yeah, I've been talking about that. I'll put them up again. We'll see what they look like. Where is everybody here located? I'm in San Diego, Southern California. If anybody wants to say, you don't have to say exact spot, but... Anyone seen skunks with double white stripes used to be just one stripe? Yeah, those have been around quite some time now. You might even have to be old to remember the symbol, old-ish to remember the single stripe skunk. Because when was that? It was it's 11 years. So after 2000, but before 2010. Yeah, around 2010, I would say I saw the double stripe. It wasn't as orderly as it is now, but the single stripe basically kind of split like this. So it was one stripe and it just kind of went like this. And so I was already seeing it like this in 2010. And now it's like way, way separated. I was confused. I'm like, what's wrong with that skunk's tail? SoCal's where's that? 2 turntables. Yeah, well... Temecula is better than San Diego, I'll tell you that, because they're a little bit less locky downy over there. Mandanimals in Northeast USA. Eliza POW is in NorCal. I used to live up there. I used to live in Sunnyvale. Back before the rest of Silicon Valley was there, and it was just Lockheed. Lockheed was huge. I think Lockheed shrunk down a lot now, last I heard. Okay. Let's look at bears real quick. Any particular one you think weird? Because there are those new bears. Are you just talking about the old brown bears and stuff? Because they do have all those new weird sun bears and stuff. It looks like their face is getting like a little... Look at the face. It's getting this heart-like bushiness out in the front. That's interesting. These are grizzlies. So the grizzlies. Interesting. Okay, so see this it has a kind of a masking look in the front now. That's interesting. Last time I checked, I didn't see that. Tiny little ears. There's some kind of creature poking around in the yard. wanted to show this one because it looks like this baby bear has like a white head. I wasn't able to make it expand. I think I've commented before, some of them are getting white snouts. This one looks kind of interesting. Another grizzly. Wait. I'm doing it wrong. Okay, that still works. Okay, again, you've got this pattern. Look at the beard thing. That's interesting. Look, another beard. Ooh, look, they're getting beards. They're getting beards now. Ooh. Just some of them, but still. That guy's weird. What was that kind again? I think I've seen this one before, but I don't remember what it was. It's kind of hard to keep up with these new things. I think that's sloth bear. Was that right? No, that's sun bear. Okay, with the long tongue. Okay, I guess these are all still sun bears, just with weird colors. All right, so yeah, just give me a hint at what I'm looking for here. I mean, I do see some things, especially with these grizzlies. They just got, I don't know, a little more character now, especially in here in the face. They got more expressiveness. They've got kind of an extra. So before, all the hair kind of just went the same way. It was just like bloop. But now you've got the hair like all kind of, the hair goes this way and then it goes that way and then it goes this way and then like that. So it's much more expressive looking now than it was before. It just used to be all a blob of hair. Ah, Shari used to live in Sunnyvale. Maybe it was the real humans are born in Sunnyvale, one of the few spots. So I was born there in like 70. Yes, people die because of SADS. Ah, jumping ship is in SoCal. So yeah, any interest in going on a in a meetup if we hit somewhere? So Angels is in Temecula. The bears look like dog, raccoon, cat, kangaroos. Okay, so I think you're there. You might be looking at like the sun bear, and then there's like there was another one, the moon. No, it was the, I don't know. I can't remember them all now. The sloth bear, that was another one. Huge buildings keep appearing around me. I'm getting used to seeing them now. You know what I saw show up this last week was in two spots. There's new pedestrian paths across the road. And so what used to be like a median full of green grass suddenly has like the parting of the Red Sea, basically, that's been parted. So there'll be still a nub out here and then the rest here, but then there's this pedestrian path that goes through. But the thing they're not recently built. They're old. You know, they're old, scungy cement, and the paint is old, and so they didn't just put them in, but like they weren't there like a couple weeks ago. So it's not a road I go down all the time, but it definitely, like, I almost I I I go down there enough that, like, I went down there twice this week and I almost ran the red light, because not only did they put this pedestrian path showed up, but there's a red light there that never used to be there. And that looks old too. It does not look new. And I almost ran through it like twice, because my brain is on autopilot. It knows where all the lights are on that road. And suddenly I'm like, oh, there's a light here. Stop. Don't expect it. And it's a light just for the pedestrians too. And there's hardly any pedestrians ever even use that walkway. So it's just a weird spot for one. If you are from Sunnyvale, you remember Fry's. I do. And actually, we had a Fry's in LA that was a madhouse on a Saturday. Like, I went there once on a Saturday. I'll never go again. I mean, you can't find anything, and it's just it was wall to wall people, and there was just stuff all over the floor, and it looked like a hurricane had hit the place. And the one in San Diego, which we had, was slower because everything was slower in San Diego. Like, LA was just such a madhouse all the time. It used to be when you tried to shop. You just have to kick your way through people. And San Diego was quieter. It was just like normal. But yeah, we noticed ever since something weird happened with Fry's. Like, suddenly it just wasn't busy anymore. And I don't know if everybody was buying online or what, but it just suddenly was dead. And then there was nothing on the shelves. And then they said it was because Trump put that tariff on China. But yet I find that strange anyway. So then we weren't exactly shocked when they said they were closing. But bears have double chin. Do they have double chin? I don't know. They have chin hairs. I think that one was sloth bear. Yeah, this thing is the sloth bear. Polar bears. I think their ears are down more and stuff. I remember polar bears having more normal ears. They almost look like dogs now. See the ears down on the side like that? I don't remember them being like that. Polar bears also aren't, I don't think, as fat as they used to be. So at first when they were skinny, they were saying it was due to starvation or something. But even these zoo ones, they look longer legged. And just, they used to be just more porky and pudgy with shorter legs. This one's a little bit more, but I don't remember him being all that. I don't know, what am I trying to say here? They were a little bit smaller in the front with a big butt. This one is like evenly fat. There's just something not right about them now. They're also a lot dirtier. A lot of the images don't look all shiny anymore. The polar bears used to be like white, white, white. But now a lot of the images you see them, they look kind of dirt colored. See, like this one. I never used to see them like brownish like that. They were always just snow white. So, people, oh, it's just dirty. Well, okay, so my dog was a white dog. And she had a kind of fur like a lot of primitive dogs have, primitive breed dogs, that when dirt got on her, it would just fall back off. Like if she went in mud and she was totally muddy, and then she would dry, and then all that mud would just fall right off, and she'd be white again. She'd snowy white all the time. There was dirt hidden in there, but it would just slow right off, and she would still be white colored. So no matter how dirty she was, she looked white. Now, if you washed her, you could get her even more white, but you never once looked at her and saw her look dirt colored like these polar bears now look. So what I'm seeing with these faces on these polar bears, they look like dog faces now. They're cuter. So it's got this, they've got these little ridges between their noggin here that they didn't used to have. The ears are more out to the side. So it reminds me of a dog also, because when dogs are being cute and sweet, they put their ears out to the side like that because they're being submissive and wiggly. So these polar bears look like that a lot now because their ears are off to the side. That just makes them look cute. That used to be up here. Ears look further back, like not even attached to the skull. Yep. No, horses don't have beards now. They have mustaches. Although they might have beards too, but mustaches was the horse one. But yeah, a lot of things are getting beards. Like a lot of the birds and a lot of the hoofed animals are getting weird beards. Oh yeah, Sizzlers. It's not Sizzler. Is it? Oh, I think it isn't that an older Mandela. It changed to Sizzler. Used to be Sizzlers. I remember somebody talking about that some time ago. Maybe like 4 years ago. Yeah, a lot of people remember Sizzlers. I remember Sizzlers. And now it's just without the S. Sizzlers. Sizzler actually makes more sense, but I don't know how they didn't go out of business. They were so popular in the 70s and 80s, and now like nobody's in them. And most of the local ones have all gone out of business. We don't have anymore here. I mean, I like their food, but I would go in there and nobody would ever be in there. Angel Sizzlers. No, I've never heard of Angel Sizzlers. It was just Sizzlers. Let me tell you, I come from a steak eating family. And my dad loves Sizzlers. And it was no Angel Sizzlers. I don't even know what Angel Sizzlers is. And we went there all the freaking time. And then when I was older and I was on my own and I didn't have a lot of money, so when I did have money, then going to Sizzlers was like kind of my special treat because I just loved that. They had that what Malibu chicken I think was I got a lot, and steak, and the baked potato. Chuck E. Cheese changed. Remember, oh, Chuck E. Cheese has changed to Chuck E. Cheese's. Chuck E. Cheese changed to Chuck E. Cheese's. Now back to Chuck E. Cheese. Chuck E. Cheese's. You know that one. It switched so many times. I forgot which one was my first reality, and I can't keep up with it. And that one's made me crazy. But I know it's changed a bunch of times, and now it's just like All right, all right. All right, tonsils. All right, there's a new update on the tonsils Mandela. Let's see. I think we need to go to the wiki. Yes. Okay, so some people remember the tonsils being that thing in the middle of your mouth and the back of your throat, right? So that was like the first Mandela. And now it's these things along the side of your mouth that are the tonsils. And the one in the middle is called the uvula. So that's an old Mandela. And then there was the tonsil stones, which is totally disgusting. Like stone calcium buildup in your side of your mouth pops out this stinky calcium stone. It's called a tonsil stone. All right, so I looked at the tonsils thing a bunch of times, and there was definitely only the two, one on each side, last I checked. But now there's a bunch of tonsils. That's just like the two that are on the outside. But there's now, so those outside ones are either called adenoids or pharyngeal tonsils. And then there's also the tubal tonsils, the palatine tonsils, and the lingual tonsils. Let's see if I can make this one bigger. Look, not so much. There, that'll help. Okay, so pharyngeal tonsils here. So there's your tongue. I don't know, that looks up pretty high up there. Yeah, I'm really kind of suspicious about that placement, but all right. Where's the one that's in your mouth, though? Because if your tongue's here, then this would be it. I'm really suspicious about this one. I thought those are the ones that you take out as the adenoids. Incompletely encapsulated. All right, let me just look up adenoids and see if that's really it. All right, that looks a little better. Or not. I'm trying to find out, okay, where are the ones? Here. All right. Adenoids above soft palate rim. Tonsils. So these ones here, I guess, are the adenoids. It's getting kind of confusing. So now it looks like, because they used to just be little patches, but it looks like they crawl all the way up back here now, these adenoids. All right, let's look at this one now. Because according to this image, the pharyngeal adenoid ones would be way up in the nose region. You're not going to see them down here. And that's the palatine one. So there's something fishy going on here. This is getting confusing. I think that the rest of these tonsils are like new, though. So I think maybe... Is that the problem? That the universe hasn't sorted this crap out yet? Okay, well, anyway, suffice it to say there's a bunch of them. So there's a lingual tonsil, which looks like it's under the tongue here. Palatine tonsil. And the pharyngeal tonsil. So there's sets of these, too. So I am very suspicious. Palatine tonsils, lingual tonsils. So, yeah, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 kinds of tonsils. So there's 8 tonsil blobs, apparently. The other thing that I thought was really fishy is this is another example of the shrinking when you get old. The adenoid grows until the age of 5, starts to shrink at age of 7, becomes very small in adulthood. But as far as I can tell, the adenoid is the one that they yank out. Like people had their tonsils out. So you didn't have them all out now. You just had the adenoids out. The palatine tonsils reach their largest size in puberty, and then they gradually undergo atrophy thereafter. However, they are the largest relative to the diameter of the throat in young children. In adults, each palatine tonsil normally measures up to 2.5 centimeters in length, so big. 2.0 centimeters in width and 1.2 centimeters in thickness. So centimeters are big. They're pretty big. So that's a big chunk of flesh. So this is another one where I was saying that was the, what was it, thalamus? They're now saying the thalamus shrinks when you get old. And now we've got these tonsils that shrink. So these are immune organs. So we're having this kind of a storyline where your immunity kind of fossilizes or shrinks away as you get older, your immune organs. And that just didn't used to be a thing before. Oh, no, Angel Sizzlers was talking to Fallen Angel. Okay. All right. So you're not saying it was Angel Sizzlers. You were saying no, Angel Sizzlers. Okay, that makes sense. Well, see, I was right. I never heard of Angel Sizzlers. Wouldn't it be bad if, like, oh, yeah, I think I remember Angel Sizzlers? Hershey's with apostrophe S went to Hershey and back to Hershey's. So what I remember is Hershey's without the apostrophe. It was Hershey's without any apostrophe. Got mine out on the sides, back of throat. Yeah. Well, there's a whole bunch more of them now, is my point. And I just never, I've looked at those a number of times, and there was always just one set of 2 tonsils on each side, and now there's all these ones. Are you familiar with Salton Sea? I don't think it was in my previous timeline. So Salton Sea used to be really tiny. And the story was that there was a agricultural dam break that let a bunch of water into the basin, and so the Salton Sea was artificial, well, and accidental, and therefore artificial. And so they weren't going to save it because it wasn't really supposed to be there. And then the latest, like 4 or 5 years ago, they were saying that actually the Salton Sea was always there, and then the dam break just let it get bigger, and so now they're going to save it because it's natural. And the other thing is, I just see it getting bigger and bigger on the map. It's gotten a lot bigger. In fact, it was so big that somebody I know saw it on the map and said, "Why did they depict it so large?" And he assumed they were depicting it as like a historical size. I'm like, no, that's the size it is now. And he's like, no, it's not. No, it's not. And I had to show him. Because he was like, there's no way it's that big. I'm like, it's that big now, for reals. But all the old maps show it that big now. So, it's just, I'm thinking you maybe didn't know about it because it was a dinky little thing. And now it's this giant spot on the map. I never heard of the hyphoid bone until 2016. It's like a chicken wing above the Adam's apple. Yeah. So it started out as the hyoid bone for me, and I saw it like 10 years ago maybe, and then they said it was only in humans, and it was the special bone that let us talk, and other animals didn't have it, and that's probably why we were so good at language and stuff. And then somewhere along the line it changed into a hyphoid bone. Hyoid bone, I think. It's hyoid bone, isn't it? Let's look at it. Hyoid bone. Because if it's hyphoid bone, I'm going to laugh because it was hyoid bone. Hyoid. Better not be hyphoid. Hyoid. Okay, so it's still hyoid bone. But now all kind of creatures have that thing. I think even horses have it and stuff. But when it first came out, only humans had it. It was hyoid bone. There it is right there. It's it almost looks like another jaw. It actually looks like it's expanded a lot. But it's got this extra little teeth here. It looks like a jaw with 2 canines. I mean, if you look at that, lesser horns, So yeah, it looks like there's the jaw and two canines. So that's my story for Hyoid, which is now Hyoid. Tonsils. And it really protects up in here in the neck too. Anybody been to Salvation Mountain and the slabs by the Salton Sea? You know, we almost went, and I had a trip scheduled, and I drove about 10 miles, and my truck conked out, and then I had to get it towed back, and then we fixed it, and I missed the trip. So I have not gone. Okay, next one. I am almost done. Okay, I've got two more. So this one was from Dave Jones, commenter on the channel. So you've heard of frogs chasing insects, right? But now we got insects that hunt frogs. So this is one of these gruesome new timeline stories. So of course the insects have to have that shiny metallic look. Okay, let's just end the sound for starters. Okay, so there they are, all shiny and nice. I think I wrote the timings on these. All right, I'll just show how they look. So it's some kind of beetle, and they basically hunt these frogs. So this frog tries to jump away, and these beetles just hunt them. There's the beetle. So it's got this shiny carapace, 109. And then they just take chunks. They bite on the frog, and then the frog tries to jump away, but they chase it. And they keep like yomping on its legs until they break the frog down, and it can't get away, and then they just munch on it alive. It's totally gross. So there he is biting on the frog's leg. The frog tries to jump away, but this beetle is like clamped on. Now you would think that it could just like eat that beetle, but no, it doesn't. Like you'd think that beetle would run up and the frog would just eat it, because frogs just eat everything. Like they eat all kinds of huge things, but for some reason they don't eat these beetles. It just seems kind of weird. I mean, these beetles aren't so big that this frog couldn't stuff one down, but they don't. They just sit there like idiots and get bit on and then jump away. It seems strange to me. All right, let me go to here now, 410. I don't want to play too much because then I'll get a copyright strike, but I don't even remember why I said to go to 410, but here it is. Why did I say to go to 410? Oh, you know what? That's actually a whole different... That was from a different video. Okay, so I won't play that part. But basically, they get the frog all... like, why am I at that one? So they get the frog all mangled and he can't get away, and then they just eat him alive. So... The pumice beetles are said to have evolved as they do today to avoid frog attacks. So the way to avoid a frog attack is to eat the frog first, apparently. The pumice beetles. Highly suspicious. And it's, of course, all sparkly. Yeah. That's the funny part is that 410 is for the next video. It's not supposed to be for the one I was just on. Now it'll make sense on this one because the next video is even weirder. Let's see, how do I say it? Okay. The next one is not gross. It's interesting. So this one comes from Lunar Skyclad, another commenter, very good find. I got the sound off, but we still don't need that. Okay, so apparently now, this is actually what I was supposed to go at 109. I think the other video I never marked the times, and then I was looking at the times for this video. Okay, so apparently now you can take an air compressor. So what's an air compressor? It's just a little machine that concentrates air and spits it out the end of a little tube. So you can like blow off things and run power tools that run on air, compressed air. So this guy, that's what he's got in his hand, is he's got an air compressor that shoots air. Now he's going to put an apple there. Now you could kind of, I guess, sort of imagine floating an apple on top of a bunch of blasting air. But do you really imagine floating an apple to the side of a blasting air and somehow the apple just floats there like by magic? Or in this case, it's physics, but it's the new timeline physics. So what he's doing is he's going to hold this apple in his hand and he's going to get the apple spinning. And apparently there's some kind of, I'm going to have to look it up, but the air wraps around the apple and causes some kind of vacuum pressure that keeps the apple from falling. And so I'll play it. So he's going to hold it in his hand to get it started. And once the air gets touching it, then the apple starts to rotate and it just floats there. 109 to 119. So and you'll see why he has this face shield on towards the end. Okay, so there. Now it's floating by itself. I mean, check that crap out. There's nothing, it's not a trick. This is a legit deal that you can do this. So he blows the air up around here and somehow, instead of the apple just falling on the ground like the old timeline, it floats. And there's a number of videos like this, and it's not fake. As best I can tell, it's legitimate physics currently. And it'll spin around and around, faster and faster and faster and faster, until it explodes, like, not like, nuclear explosion, but until it flies apart. But it's so fast that it could poke out your eye pretty much. So that's why he's got that face shield on. So now at 410, we will get apples instead of that other thing we got. All right, so this video, I picked him because this is the slow-mo, guys. And so this is a slow-mo of what's going to happen as that thing spins faster. And it's weird because it gets this weird, it goes around like, what did they see? 28,000 FPS or whatever. Okay, so this is it in slow-mo. Let's check that out. So it splits in half and it just flies everywhere. And towards the end, he actually shows splatter all over the walls and stuff too. Whoops, that's not the one. So look, there's like apple splatters everywhere. So definitely don't do this in the house. If you're, we're actually probably gonna try this. I do have an air compressor, and they said that it doesn't have to be like a really good quality one. So I will give it a shot. But my friend who's older than I am has done every weird trick possible, has never done this, and he's never seen it before. So that alone is highly suspicious because he's, worked with air pressures um, um, most of his life. So it's just very weird. I don't want to. I'd play the whole thing, but I'll probably get a giant copyright strike, so I'm not going to do that. But anyway, you want to watch it. Dun, dun, dun. Spinning an apple until it explodes at 28,500 FPS. The slow-mo guys on YouTube will get you there. Compressed air can be used to levitate rounded objects. Sometimes said rounded objects start spinning so fast that they give up on being round objects. All right, anyways, I think that was the last one. That was actually the really one I was supposed to watch at 4:10. Magic is becoming real. Yep. I didn't put the sound on the video because it just increases my chances of copyright. There's also a point to be made about rust for oxidizer and some biomass being used in a spray to effectively create fire-spewing creatures like dragons. Yeah, we've already got those beetles that shoot like boiling chemicals out their butt. So I don't think we're that far away, really. Anyways, that's about it. Oh, 2 o'clock. I managed to speak for 2 whole hours. Sorry if I'm buffering. It actually looks really good from my end. I'm not getting any warnings. I think that this Brave browser is helping speed things up a little bit. It's oinking less CPU power and stuff. Or toad lizards spew blood from their eyes. Yeah, that's kind of an older Mandela. Not everybody sees that as a Mandela. I think it is, but it's definitely, I heard about that before I knew of the Mandela, so it's pretty old. So yeah, that's why the guy has to wear the face shield, because that apple, it actually spins so fast you can't even see it, and then it just explodes. And there was another video I didn't play, but it was kind of slow-mo, but not as slow-mo as that one. And basically, you see like the guy standing there, and he's there. The video's slow enough that he looks kind of like spaced out because he's hardly moving, like the. And then the apple expands out, and then like two. It's not real seconds, but it looks like 2 seconds go by, and then he finally blinks his eyes. Like the apple is totally out of the picture, and finally his eyes have registered that the apple is gone, and he blinks. And then another 2 seconds later, and he like finally flinches away. I'm like, the apple is already in orbit around the moon by the time his eyeballs react to the missing apple. So that's how fast that apple flails apart. You're one of my favorite ME channels. I'm happy you aren't an angry person or scared of the ME. Not, every now and then I kind of get freaked out by it. It's just very hard to get used to it. When I just learned a certain way that reality is like this, and then it was just like magically doing weird crap. So sometimes it still is pretty shocking, but it's also very exciting. What are you gonna do? You just have to deal with it. So, alrighty, peoples. Anyway, thanks for the compliments and all that, and the many Mandelas you guys have contributed for tonight. So I think it's time for me to go to bed. So thank you, everybody. Think good thoughts, everybody. This is Eva signing off for Once Upon a Timeline.